See, the party has from a very long time we have been stating that Article 371 and the present inner line permit regulation, which is a direct offshoot of the Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation Act of 1873, BIFRA, the BIFRA Act of 1873. Why? In the first place, some quarters feel that this is enough to protect us against whatever amendments take place in the principal act of the Citizenship of India. We say we are vulnerable because these laws governing us are deficient. It lacks the most important basis of being effectively and permanently being imposed on us. So we were saying that 371 and ILP, it cannot protect us against the demographic invasion of Indian citizens into Nagaland. Now why? I think you have seen, I was yet to arrive now. Dr. S.C. Jamil made a statement, some Nagaland page, any one of you, in the interview saying that 371 and ILP are deficient. They cannot protect us against the demographic invasion, against the CAB of 2016 amendment. And I agree fully with him. Who else is a better person alive just now than the lone surviving signatory to the 16 Points Agreement of 1960, which gave birth to Article 370. So he is absolutely correct that these two, present ILP and the 371, cannot protect us. He did not elaborate the reasons why it is weak, why it cannot. 71 is to do with our territory and our social practices, our land and resources. 371 has been the 4 points out of the 16 points which the then Government of India and the NPC has agreed to. If all the 16 points have been in the 371 and have undergone the enactment of Parliament, Government of India is under obligation to fulfill. But out of the 16 points, 12 were left out. Only 4 points dealing with our land, resources, and our social religious practices were put in. And that additional point of inner line permit, the continuation of the BIFRA Act, did not undergo the enactment of Parliament. Just like Nagaland would be funded from the Consolidated Fund of India, that also did not undergo the enactment of Parliament. Just like integration of all contiguous Naga territories did not undergo the enactment of Parliament. So, in 1989, the Government of India scrapped that funding from the Consolidated Fund of India will discontinue. Because it did not undergo the enactment of Parliament. It is not immune. It is not immune to the decision of the government of the day in Delhi. Integration of all contiguous territories also did not undergo, so it has never been implemented. This time, Naga political groups are taking up. Let us see. So these things, which does not undergo the enactment of Parliament, are vulnerable, and it is only a decision of the Union Cabinet, a government of the day. It is at their pleasure that it will continue, or if they are not pleased, they will withdraw it any time. But for these 4 points under Article 371, they cannot. Whether they like it or not, the government, the Union government, cannot touch it or withdraw it. Such is the power of an executive order and an enactment of the Parliament. So, our ILP inner line permit RIFA can be withdrawn anything at the pleasure of the government of India. It's rather. Another thing is, ILP is not for the essential commodities coming from Assam. It's not for the hardwares, Leopani, bricks, other materials coming from outside the state. Not for the vegetables, not for anything else, but for the citizens of India. It is a prohibition subject to permission by the state government. Only then it is fully up to the government of India whether to allow for 1 day, 15 days, 3 months, or not even one. That power rests with us when coming to the citizens of India. Now, in the Principal Act of Citizenship 1955, under the rights and privileges of Indian citizens, limitations and restrictions of Indian citizens, unless this BIFRA Act, ILP, wherever is in operation, that restriction will be imposed on all Indian citizens. Unless that is inserted, it is not binding on any Indian citizens that they should be subject to entering with a permit. Because the citizens' rights and privileges is that once you are a citizen, every nook and corner, every inch of this country, India, is accessible. You can get a job, you can buy land, you can establish your business, you can be enrolled in the electoral roll, you can be this, everything. Those are the rights and privileges of every Indian citizen. When someone travels from Maharashtra to Karnataka, they don't impose such permits. No government, state governments can restrict them. But in our state, and the 3 states which are under ILP, Arunachal, Nagaland, and Mizoram, it has been extended to them. They are subject to these restrictions. That was not entered in the Principal Act of 1955. So it makes it vulnerable. It can be challenged any day, and they will go to court. When any lawyer for us stands, the court will ask us to point in which article, in which clause, in which section, does it say that ILP is binding on Indian citizens? Then our lawyer will search the pages and he will not find. Then you know what the ruling of the court will be. So this binding the Indian citizens in the Principal Act has never undergone any enactment of the Parliament. And that BIFRA, ILP, will continue in Nagaland, has also never undergone the Act of Parliament. This is why it is vulnerable. A glaring example which happened just recently is Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. You know the story? I will not go into details, but their king, their monarch, in an emergency when China and Pakistan started entering its territory, he rushed down to India and he quickly signed the instrument of accession, which is unconditional surrender to India. And that's how the Indian forces went out and defended India. After that, they have brought out that Article 370, the rights and whatever is there, Article 370. And they said this will be given to Jammu Kashmir. But for 71 years, their leaders have never brought this to the parliament for enactment. So it remained only as a presidential decree. So at the pleasure of the government and the president, it remains. The moment government is not pleased, they recommend it to the president, and with another decree, he just scraps it. That is the system. See? So in our case also, the 12 points which never underwent the enactment are liable to be scrapped, withdrawn anytime. So, like Assam, the Assam Accord. Everything was there in 1985, except in 6B, Article 6B, the cutoff date was not mentioned. So, Government of India can follow their demand or may not follow their demand. It is up to them. So this government has, agreement was 24th March 1970. But they have, at will, at their own pleasure, has brought it to 31st December 2004. That they can. So after studying 6A, we come to know that it was not entered. So it makes it vulnerable. So this thing was there ever since, not now, ever since 1947. It was unstable. It was still subject to the pleasure of the Union government, whether to continue with this inner line, the Free Act of 1873, or whether it will be binding to the citizens of India or not. This was hanging since 1947. When they gave us statehood, also they did not rectify this. And we did not realize also, until such people like Ashwini Kumar, a Supreme Court lawyer himself, challenged the validity of our ILP as to why Indian citizens cannot come and settle in Dimapur. Why we cannot ask for job? Why we cannot ask for this as rights and privileges? Because in the main principal act, there is no restriction for any Indian citizen to come in. Such are the challenges. And there are thousands and lakhs of Ashwini Kumar. The only reason why the Supreme Court did take up are two, according to me. One, Naga solution is hanging. Slightest provocations will hurt their sentiments. There is a capacity of derailing the talks, which is somehow being pushed. Two, if they take up the case for argument, in the course of argument and counter-argument by lawyers, our loopholes and weaknesses will be exposed, and thereby we start fighting with the government of India to start including this as an enactment in the main principal act of 1955. Maybe they don't want to educate us. So for these two reasons, it was admitted, which means a lawyer will be better. I have not studied one page or so, but advices from friends, which makes us vulnerable. And it has a locus standi, legal standing. That's why. Otherwise, it should have been rejected. So under such circumstances, our party could already see from before that it is dangerous. These, these are the only protections. The Inner Line Permit 1873 Act is the only protection that we have to protect our land and from population overrun, that is the demographic invasion of our society. This is the only protection. If the continuity of BIFRA Act of 1873 is ensured, that no government at their pleasure or displeasure can remove it, then we are safe. So it should be also reflected in the main Citizenship Act, the Constitution of India, under restrictions to any Indian citizen that you are free to be like this, like that, anywhere. But in the states where the BIFRA Act is in operation, in the Inner Line regulation, you are subject to such restrictions. That has never been there in the Citizenship Act. For the first time, this time only, we got a chance to amend the main Citizenship Act. And so we were asking for its inclusion, insertion in the Citizenship Act. Now, why we opposed? This is the original bill of 2016, which was passed in the Lok Sabha on the 8th of January this year. They couldn't put it up to the Rajya Sabha because they know they didn't have the numbers. So it lapsed. You read this, it has no reference to the Inner Line. It has no reference to the BIFRA Act of 1873. No reference to the sixth schedule, to the Northeast and our states, where IP is included. So how can we support a bill like this? This is a chance for us and for them also to rectify and strengthen the laws which they have given us for protection if they are sincere. So we have talked at different levels. We have spoken inside Parliament also. We have protested outside Parliament also, and at different levels with different authorities. After all our hard works, concerted hard works by different people, this 2019, which was passed in the Lok Sabha on 9th and 11th of Rajya Sabha, they have rectified and they have put in an entire section called 6B, covering and ensuring that the BIFRA Act and the ILP will continue in the places in the states where it is being operated, and the sixth schedule also will be covered by this. And by inserting this in the main Citizenship Act of 1955, it has been recognized. The binding, the restrictions on any Indian citizen has been now enacted. Now there is no way that any party comes to power in Delhi, in the union government, at their pleasure or displeasure, still the continuity is ensured. They cannot. Now after this section is inserted, I tell you, at the initiation or at the party's initiative, nobody in 57 years of statehood have been able to remove one comma or add one full stop in the Constitution of India. So my party, the NPF today, because of our persistence, because of our hard work, because of our protests inside as well as outside Parliament, with different authorities in India, this time they have inserted this. This bill, proposed bill, was circulated on the 6th, but I still was doubtful. Unless it is written and tabled like that in the Parliament, I could not say that I support it. So on the 9th, this was tabled and it was passed by the Rajya Sabha, and I saw it. Not a word has been removed or added. And in the explanatory note of the Home Minister in number 10, again it appeared, citing our ILP and the P5 notice. So, this prompted me to support the bill. We have been all along weak, vulnerable, because these two have not been rectified. The continuity of the ILP Friday, and that this is binding to the citizens of India of all categories have never been enacted. So it has started being challenged. Now we have a solution hanging over us. There's no peace in that. So the pressure is not much, the attempts are not much, but a solution will come. And that day, after peace dawns, and there is no more political grudge between the center and Nagaland, then the citizens of India, if they are not restricted with these articles, they will challenge us like Ashwin, and they will win. And if the act, if the ILP Bifra Act of 1873 is not regularized like this, then it can be scrapped anytime and withdrawn like JNK 370, like our 16 points where 12 are not there, like Assam Accord where the cutoff date is not mentioned. These are unfortunate cases. So when our demand and our stand that 371 and ILP is not sufficient to protect us, when the Citizenship Amendment Bill is being considered, which will bring in more, which will give more, increase the citizenship of India, specifically for these refugees coming into India from these three countries. The bulk is here in Northeast from Bangladesh. And there are cases from Afghanistan and Pakistan to the far northwest. In the Northeast, it is from Bangladesh. So when this is being addressed, I'm going to give you a copy each.